This is an uncensored podcast about sex, sexuality, gender, and body stuff. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the person or persons sharing them. Some names have been changed to protect the anonymity of its participants. Hello, my friends. It's me, Drew Michael. I'm not sure what I have to do to make this room less echoey. I'm gonna have to upholster the walls. I eat a lot of eggs. Maybe I can just put egg cartons up everywhere. That's probably what's gonna have to happen. This is Make Sex With Me, and this is a Quickisode. So, as you might remember from our last episode, our last full length, our first of the year, we're going to be doing weekly episodes. And part of what's going to make that possible is knowing that I can put together a Quickisode no matter what. No matter what, I have at least time for a quickie. So basically, I scoured the internet and I found some interesting questions. As per usual, if you guys want to, you can write in questions to Make Sex With Me podcast at gmail.com, and I will read them on the air. I will read them. I won't even have to fish through the millions to get your email to read it. You will probably be the first one. But I have a feeling we're going to start getting some more listener mail. We do get some emails to the Make Sex With Me podcast email. Mostly it's like people asking if they can use, some new AI software they've developed to market my podcast better. And I'm just like, I don't know. AI is kind of scary. Have you guys seen the new, Apple, what are they called? They're like Apple Vision or Apple whatever. It's like the Apple glasses they've been talking about, and it looks like a VR virtual reality headset thing, but it's like basically having a computer like in your goggles. It's insane. It's really insane. It tracks your eyeball. Like if you look at one of the apps, it knows which one you're looking at, and you can choose an app by staring at it long enough. It's really, really weird. It also looks down at your hands and it sees different gestures you're making, and it's insane. Also, it's $4,000 for a pair. AI is fucking creepy. I don't want your damn AI all over my grassroots podcast. All right, let's do this shit. What do we got? This is a Reddit submission from somebody named Jackin495. I really thought it was Jackson, and then I was like, where's the S? And it's Jackin, so I'm pretty sure they're Jackin. Jackin495 says, and this is from a Reddit group, Communal Showers, which is again one of my favorite groups to follow. It's actually not a very sexual group, but there's definitely some pervs, and I think Jackin might be one of them. Jackin says, so how does the bro code work for those who use Bradley pole showers? If it's not busy, do you try to use a different pole, go for a spread, and try to face a different way? If you're showering with a workout friend, do you use the same one? If the same one across from each other or next to each other. All right, so basically they've just asked all the different things. And then the person who commented on it was Clint Dilfer. Clint Dilfer says, we need a flowchart here, but if empty, whichever. If one person present, if you know the person, same. Okay, let me explain something. So most of you listening might not know what a Bradley pole shower is. Okay, so you have communal showers, right? You have like a shower room where the showers are. And I think like what a lot of people are used to is just like the traditional shower room where like all along the perimeter walls of a room, there's like shower heads. Like every like 4 to 5 feet, there's like a shower head and, you know, a nozzle or whatever. So that's like pretty typical. Um, and I don't know when the Bradley pole was invented. I think it might have been invented like in the 1950s or something. And I don't know why it's called that. I think probably the person who invented it is called Bradley. But if you Google Bradley pole, you will find a lot of like old cartoony ads about this. So basically, um, it comes from a time when people didn't, I guess, have a big deal. They didn't make a big deal out of showering. It probably uh it probably like was weird for a lot of people. Like there's always probably been people who didn't want to shower naked with other people, but you know, and it's definitely like in a lot of situations like after sports or like in school or whatever, when you're young and like the school maybe had policies that you like had to shower after stuff. And like there was even a lot of there's a lot of stories about a lot of things, and I've kind of touched on this in episodes before, but just like where the school made you shower and the coach would like require that you like um you know, were completely naked and use soap and hot water. And then like it gets really weird where like, you know, the coach would like check you and make sure that you had actually cleaned different areas. And it's like, or like they'd have the students check each other, and it's like, oh, that's really weird. That's not really okay. But it was all under this guise of like, well, we need to make sure they're actually getting clean. And it's like, well, it's not really your responsibility to make sure other people are clean. And especially not other people's children. So like, yeah, like if you're someone's parent, you might have to be like, you need to shower, sweetie. Like I'm making sure that you're taking care of yourself, but I'm not gonna like look inside your butt cheeks and like under your balls and like in your armpit to like make sure you're clean. And no amount of looking would actually determine that. Like it's not like I can see bacteria. So I think just like you know if a person's clean if they don't smell like shit. You know what I mean? So like that's the deal. And I've smelled a lot of different kinds of smelly, shitty people. You don't have to look very closely to know if a person hasn't been showering. So anyway, that's probably a sign of like really fucked up shit. But I went on a tangent, of course. Um, I do think that group showers are great. I love them. I love to be naked with other people that are naked, especially other men. It's one of the ways that I feel like I connect to my masculinity is through that process. And it could be sexual for me too, but like it doesn't have to be. Um, there's definitely enjoyment in just being naked with other people and other men, especially. And um, so anyway, the Bradley pole. Imagine instead of showers around the perimeter, you've got poles in the center of the room, and there might have also been perimeter outer showers too. But imagine poles that are almost like a tree, like a metal pole, and like at least four sides with nozzles, right? Little control handle, whatever, to control the turn the water on and control the temperature. And then up above is like a spout, and it spouts, you know, in four different directions at least. And you have like four guys stand around and they face the pole and they shower. And so technically they're like facing each other. um, every gay guy who's been alive since then to now is like in love with this Bradley pole shower thing, because basically it just gives you a look at the guy next to you and his what he's got going on. Like it's just really cheeky and sexy for sexy people, but it could also just be a really nice communal bonding experience for. And I mean, I'm not sure. I've never seen Bradley Poles advertised for women's locker rooms, but I'm sure they've had them too. But yeah, it's just like it's cool. It's cool. Like we're just naked. We've got the same stuff. Like we're just here, whatever. And so yeah, I don't know how popular they were, but they were popular enough. And there might have been some thing of like maybe they were used in military spaces. Maybe they like helped get more people in the shower. Like if you had, perimeter showers, you could have one person per head or two people per head, and then you've got the Bradley poles in the center, and then you can get more people in around those. I mean, I've seen even things where like it's just like a little tiny hallway with water that shoots up, and the men just like run through and it sprays up under their bits. And like there's all these different ways. I think the military especially tried to like get men clean faster, because like that was always a thing in the military of like we just need to get our soldiers clean and back in uniform and back out there so they can be shot at. Something like that. That might not have been what they said. um but yeah, so that might have been a big um, uh, buyer of the Bradley pole shower units. Like the military might have been like, oh fuck yeah, we love that. Love our men to be staring at each other in the shower. It's great. But yeah, it definitely comes from a time when like there was knowledge that there were homosexuals, but like it just wasn't something you talked about. And so like in a way it was ignored, and so nudity was a lot more acceptable because there was no belief that there was something like else going on in locker rooms. Like they just didn't allow that to happen, and if it happened, you just like you removed it quickly from society and eradicated it. Like queerness has been erased basically throughout much of history. So anyway, that's a little bit of a history of the Bradley pole showers. So this person's saying basically like what's the etiquette here? If it's not busy, do you try to use a different pole than someone else? It says go for a spread and try to face a different way. I don't know what that means. If you're showering with a workout friend, do you use the same one because you know each other? If you use the same one across, do you use the one across or the one next? And then Clint Dilfer says, if empty, whichever. Use whatever one. Well, duh. If one person present, if you know the person, same pole. If you don't know them, different pole. If more than one present, if they're on the same pole, different pole. If they're on the different pole, if empty pole available, different pole. If all poles occupied, whichever. I don't think facing choice matters. Well, I would say probably like, okay, so this is a weird thing too. It's so funny. But first of all, you're not going to find a lot of Bradley poles in locker rooms anymore. You're going to find a lot of single use cubicles with curtains or doors, right? Because people just don't like to be naked in front of each other anymore. I just had a conversation with my coworker today where my male coworker and my female coworker were both like erring on the side of like my male coworker, who's probably like in his late 20s, was like, I don't want to go in the locker room at all because I don't want to see all that old junk hanging around. And which is like such a dumb, immature, common thing for a 20-year-old to say, guy especially, but some girls too. And then my female coworker, who's probably in like her late 50s, was like, I think she's actually in her 60s. She was like, I mean, I'm fine with like nudity in the locker room because it's a locker room, but just I think people should be kind of like just keep to themselves. You don't have to be shaking it all over the place. Just like face the locker, face away from everyone else, and do your thing. And she's kind of religious, so I was like, yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, it's like this. It's like I'm not saying jump up on the bench and shake your maracas. I'm saying this is an acceptable thing to be in a locker room and be naked. I know there's a lot of situations where like uh, different associations, different gyms, whatever, have said like, oh, a lot of our members are uncomfortable with nudity, so we have to try to get everyone to be less nude, even in nude spaces. And so they'll say like, don't be, too naked or whatever. Like, don't, if you're walking from your locker to the shower, wrap a towel around yourself. Like, don't walk around naked. If you're dry off in your shower with the curtain closed, like shower with the curtain closed, and like, don't, I don't know, just don't stay naked too long, just like try to get to your locker. And and there's other people who say like you have to do like the fucking towel dance. Like, we want you to have your towel around your waist, and you have to somehow like shimmy your pants up underneath your towel. And the whole thing is just so absurd. It's so absurd. In Europe, they have locker rooms where men and women change in the same locker room, and nothing bad ever happens. It's just absurd, and they like to pretend that like nudity is perverse, and even like sexual things happening in public spaces at times is like dangerous. It's just like, you know what? I mean, there's two different things going on there. Nudity and sexuality, or sex, are two different things, right? You could, like, nudism has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with being nude and being in nature sometimes. But anyway, like, there's nothing wrong with just being naked. And if somebody's naked and they're trying to sexually harass you or assault you, or they're like naked to flash you for the sake of trying to make you feel powerless or something, that's different. But if they're in a locker room changing, minding their own business, and you walk in, sorry honey, that's not an attack against you. It has fucking literally nothing to do with you. It has just the fact to do with like they're changing in a locker room. So don't fucking come for people. Like, don't say, oh, you can't change in a locker room, you can't be naked in a locker room. It's like, fuck off. There's so many places where it's still acceptable to shower, communal showers. You will find some Bradley poles some places. And you know what else? If your ass is going in the military, you better believe you're going to be fucking completely naked in front of a whole bunch of people you don't know, and then a whole bunch of people you do know still. It's only, I think, after boot camp and shit that you like actually get some privacy, and that's not all the time. I think that they even have to shit with no doors on the stalls. Like, I think it's just like literally like it's supposed to be dehumanizing in the military because they want to mold you into a soldier. They don't want you to be like, well, I'm not comfortable with this. It's like, nope, you're ours. You're fighting for us. You do what we fucking say. And I'm not saying that's right. I don't think it's right to dehumanize anybody. I'm just saying, like, best of luck if you don't like being naked in front of other people, if you think you're going to go into the military, because sorry, bitch, you're gonna be naked in front of a lot of fucking people. Um, anyway, I went on another rampage there. Um, the thing that's funny is the guys who. So I want to address this too. Bradley polls, obviously, like, yeah, you want to, if there's other options, you don't have to stand right next to a person. Like, I'm not gonna, if there's other tables to sit at, I'm not gonna sit down at your table and eat lunch with you if I don't fucking know you. I don't have to go to the same Bradley poll as you're at. If there's only one other person and it's you, I can go to another one. That's fine. Um, and if there's like two Bradley polls and they're each being used by someone, I just got to go to one, and it might be the one you're at. Sorry about it. That being said, I don't have to stand right next to you. I could stand across from you. Like, there's some, like, I think that it's important to respect people's space. And, even though you're completely naked, it doesn't mean you're like, I want everyone to be staring at me all the time. Like, you do, like, you should be allowed, like, a certain amount of, like, personal space and a little bit of privacy. Like, it's not really great to, like, just be staring at people who are naked. Like, they're not naked for you to stare at. They're naked because they're naked. That's it. Um, if someone dresses really sexy or cute, they're not dressing that way for you, for your approval or for your appreciation. Um, and you don't have to say something. You don't have to say, "Damn girl, you looking hot." Like, you don't have to do any of that, okay? You don't have to stare at a girl's boobs the whole time you're talking to her, uh, and just like look like a total fucking pig. I'm sorry, I work at a place where there's a lot of old white men and other colors of old men too, mostly white though. And but it's not specific to white men. And they, especially older, because they come from a different time. They were allowed to act like pigs, and they were told that like saying gross things to women was like a compliment. I was just having this conversation earlier too. Ugh, gross. Anyway, um, so yeah, that's the Bradley pool deal. That's the etiquette, I guess. But it's similar to like if there's like three urinals. We have three urinals at the bathroom at my gym, and um, I almost always go to the middle one only because the one on the right's always broken, and the one on the far left is like low. It's like it's a lower urinal for like short people or children or something. So I always go to the middle one. And I also always wonder, because it's like a social experiment. Like, is anyone going to actually come to one of the toilets on either side of me? Because there's this like not even a silent rule. It's like not even unspoken. Like, it's a rule apparently that men tell other men that like you're supposed to leave a gap. Like, you're not supposed to pee right next to me. You're supposed to leave a gap if at all possible. Like at the airport, if like there's 16 urinals and 15 of them are taken, you're going to have to just go in there and be right next to someone, right? And that's understood in that situation. But if there's like, two guys over there and three guys over there and five in the middle, you're not supposed to go right next to any of those guys. You're supposed to go like somewhere a couple over at least from like the other guys. So anyway, I go to the middle urinal and I just like will be peeing, and I only pee as long as I'm peeing, right? I'm not like standing there for hours, but I do occasionally I'll see like someone walk in, and you kind of like they kind of pause for a millisecond, and then like you hear them like go into one of the stalls, and then they pee standing up in a stall instead of going to a urinal that's like right next to me. And I don't know if it's me or if it's just like if anybody was there, they'd have a hard time. But I think it's so stupid. And the other thing is, and of course, I do want people to be comfortable. I'm not saying you should like be forced into anything, but I do think it's stupid. I think that a lot of times these kinds of people are the types of people that will not even lift the seat. They'll piss all over the seat, and then they'll just leave their piss on the seat for someone else to have to wash up. That's like the worst person in the entire world. I'm not saying that if you're afraid of peeing next to someone and you've gone into a stall to pee instead that you're going to do that necessarily, but the people that leave the pee on the seat, that's yeah, that's what's happening. They're in there because they're afraid someone's going to see their wee wee. And then their mommy didn't teach them to clean up after themselves because she probably did everything for them. And they're little pee pee crybabies. That's what they is. So there's that. All right. Thank you, Jackin. That was wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and delete that so I don't accidentally read it on another episode. All right. So we have another Reddit from, let's see, what is it from? Is this the next one? Is this the next one? Is it from Reddit? I wanna read it. Okay, it is. It's from a Reddit group called Massage, and the user is Clancularity. Clancularity. All right, so Clancularity says, massage therapist, this is the subject, massage therapist recording session without consent, posting to social media. I follow my massage therapist on Instagram and saw that she posted a video of herself massaging me. Nothing scandalous was posted. My nude back and butt crack show slightly, but I worry about what other footage she might have. She has never mentioned that she is recording the session, and I am 99.9% sure I never consented to any form of recording. I'm pretty sure she hasn't had me sign any paperwork besides her cancellation policy on Massage Book, and I generally read anything I sign. I'm in the US, in North Carolina. Is she legally allowed to record me without my consent? The angle of the camera would have pointed straight at me fully nude, disrobing before the session and getting dressed again after the session. What is my best course of action here? Um, I don't know if Glenn Clarity is a man or a woman, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I assumed it was a man, but it probably could also be a woman. Um, okay, so obviously, like, that's absolutely terrible. Um, I don't know what the state laws are in North Carolina regarding filming a person without their consent. I don't even know what the laws are in South Carolina about that, but I'm assuming it's illegal. There might even be some federal law about it, although probably not. Um, I think that it would be easy to find out what those laws are. Um, and definitely, if there's a recording of just that part of you, there's definitely also recordings of you in other states of undress. Like, it's not like well, I don't know if the video looks like it's handheld video, like if she was massaging you and then like had the camera in her other hand, or like was wearing some kind of a GoPro camera or something. But if it looks like it's like from above, they said um, the angle of the camera would have pointed straight at me fully nude, disrobing before the session and getting dressed again after the session. So yeah, I think the camera probably wasn't moving. It was probably a set somewhere. Um, and it's possible like she didn't start recording till you were already under the sheet. So there might not be like a video of you completely naked, disrobing, getting under the sheet. But that's absolutely unacceptable. And I think um, this person should be reported to Massage Book or whatever service provider they're working through. Like, they should be all sorts of, it should be reported to social media, to Instagram or whatever we were looking at. I think it said Instagram. Um, they should be reported to a bunch of things. I don't know why a person would think they have the right to record you without asking your permission. Um, you should definitely talk to this person before trying to get them banned from massaging. Like, if you're trying to like go for their license, I think you should probably say like, hey, what the fuck? Did I sign some kind of a waiver that gave you the right to do this? Like, I was not aware of anything like that. So if you have a signed document that I signed, please, this would be the time for you to show that to me. Otherwise, like, your ass is grass. Like, I don't get, I don't think this person cares about you if they're going to do that. It's just so wrong. It's so obviously wrong. It's, I guess, possible that the massage therapist is like a complete idiot, but my guess is that they just really want to create some promotional material so they can get more business, and they didn't think it was important to ask their models if they would model for their promotional material first. And it's absolutely important to do that. You can even say like, hey, I just want to take like some little clips, some little snippets, and you would be completely covered. Like, I'd be willing to give you like a free session. Or you could even just like post like, is anyone willing to model for massage promotional videos? Like, completely professional. Like, I could, give you free massage in exchange for like that. That would all be okay, and you would definitely find people willing to do it. But this thing is fucking unacceptable. And yeah, especially if your butt crack is showing. I mean, it's just a butt crack, but that's like part of your butt, you know? Anyway, I'm so sorry that happened to you, Clan Kilarity, and I hope that you've taken some kind of actions against this person, and that they don't do it to anybody else. Okay. Do we have time for one more? I think we do. I have one more, and it's like pretty serious. Um, so we're gonna see what we can do about it here. Oh, no, actually, this is not a very serious one. Okay, let's do this one first, and we'll save a serious one for another week. Because I think I have another one that's so serious, it might require like a lot of discussion. I might even need to bring like a guest in to help me like kind of dissect what's going down. But anyway, let's not talk about it because it's not happening today. Okay, so this is our last one. It's called, it's from Communal Showers, and it's called, it's by a user named exciting underscore focus underscore 9937. Exciting focus. Impossible to avoid a boner. All right, I'm 27 and recently started going to the gym. I obviously see a lot of guys being completely comfortable with being naked in front of other people. For as long as I can remember, I've been desperately avoiding every situation when others would see me naked or just see my body at all. Locker rooms, communal showers were the places I feared the most, but I was so uncomfortable with my body that I even avoided going in the water without a t-shirt on or using a pool on holidays. Or using a pool on holidays. What does that have to do with anything? Anyway, now I'm a bit more comfortable, but still very anxious. When I'm changing and I completely avoid using the communal showers at my gym, I instantly get a boner, and it's not the kind that goes away. I tried distracting myself and it works for a bit. But as soon as I'd carry on changing or going to the shower, it's just back. I don't have to see anything or think about anything. It just happens every single time I get naked, even if I'm all by myself. I've read that it occasionally happens to a lot of people, but for me it's just different. I could not be there 1 second without a full erection, so I rather avoid it completely by arriving to the gym partially dressed and not showering until I get home. This is very impractical, and I feel like I would be ready for actually being naked if my dick could stay at rest. I would appreciate your thoughts on this. Um, oh, and the person that commented first said, from someone with the same problem, I can tell you that it will go away while you start showering. Okay, well, that's good advice. Um, all right. So this person sounds like they're just like really kind of like at odds with themselves physically. It sounds like okay, so they're 27, they're still pretty young. Um but that being said, like by 27, you should be like over most of like the uncomfortable feelings you have about your body like as a teenager. Um Anything having to do with like puberty, I'd say you should be like pretty much done with by 27. I mean, you're going on 30. If you have issues with your body because of like gender, or like if you have issues with like your body because of like your body weight, or anything regarding like eating disorders, or if you've just been overweight or whatever, or if you were teased about certain things, I mean, obviously forget what I said before. But the fact that you get erections when you're at the locker in the locker room makes me just feel like, and you're like, I'm not even horny, it's just happening. It just feels like, again, it just feels like your body is just doing one thing, and you're just like not like understanding your body. Your body's just like woo woo, and you're just like, your mind is somewhere else. Um, and I don't want to be like blamey at all. I mean, because like the fact is that like there's a lot of reasons why men get erections, and it's not. Sometimes it makes no fucking sense. Um, but I think the fact that you're uncomfortable doesn't help it to go down at all. It's just going to stay there, because it's almost like, because you're getting you're not getting aroused, but you're getting anxious or nervous. Like your body's like in a state of excitement of some kind. Um, your heart can beat faster when you're anxious. Like um, your blood pumps faster. Like it's not really helping. If your blood is accelerated, it doesn't really help your erection, which is a dick full of blood, to like stop being erect, right? So I would say like in those situations, I mean you could just avoid those situations entirely, but like you're already saying like it just doesn't seem to make sense for you. Like you're going to be going to the gym, you need to use the facilities, like you're not it doesn't make sense for you to show up already clothed. Like you're going to have to get dressed somehow. You're coming from work, you're coming from school, whatever. Um it just doesn't make sense for you to like wear layers and layers of clothes just so you don't get an erection. Um, I would say like work on just keeping yourself calm in those situations. Like breathe. Um, you don't have to audibly be like, I mean, like if you're doing that and you're fully hard in the locker room, they might think something else. But I think just stay calm and just know that like again, you're in a men's locker room. Um, there's nothing wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with being naked. There's nothing wrong with an erection either. Just because you're erect doesn't mean you're like being sexual. Doesn't mean you're like masturbating. It doesn't mean you're like sexually flashing someone or assaulting someone. Um, and if you're just like going about your business and your dick's a little hard, most guys they might look and just be like, oh shit. But they're not going to talk about it unless they like are interested in it, and in that case you could be like, oh no, dude, like you got me wrong. Like I'm not interested in that. I get erections when I'm in the locker room. And then they'll be like, oh shit. Okay. I think it's okay to tell another man like who's like, oh dude, you got an erection. Like, yeah, dude, I don't know why this happens. I get, just kind of nervous and it happens, but it's like, it's so annoying. I think it's cool to talk to other men about things like that because other men experience it too. Um, but I also think that like the guy that said just get in the shower, it'll go down or whatever, I think what he meant more is like, it happens to me too. I just like go about my business and I just say, whatever. And it always goes away. And I think that's completely true. I think like, if your dick gets hard, it's almost like a dog being like, "Is it time? Is it time for a walk?" And you're like, "Nope, it's not time for a walk." And it's like, "Are you sure?" And you're like, "Yep, I'm sure it's not." And then the dog's like, "But really?" And then you're like, "Nope, we're positive it's not time for that." And then the dog goes, "Okay, I go lay down." It's like a primal thing, right? It's an animal thing. So I definitely think like, yeah, just go about your business, do your thing, don't worry about it. Just chill. And probably no one's even gonna notice. Uh, Sometimes I think other straight guys will notice and be like, hey man, nice cock. I think we had a previous Reddit where a guy said that to another guy and just like walked away and he was like, okay. Um, and that's fine. It's fine. It's fine to have a nice cock. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Um, I think what your fear could be is like someone's going to see it and think that you're a pervert and go tell management and be like, there's a guy in there with a hard cock. Um, if someone came and told me that there was a man in the locker room with an erection, um, I would say, okay, is he doing something that he shouldn't be doing? Like, is he, did he flash yet? Is he doing something inappropriate other than just having an erection? Um, and I would probably just say, or I would say like, okay, well, thank you for telling us. Like, um, I'll go see what's up, and I'd probably go in there and I would probably just try to play it cool And then, you know, if he looked at me and was like, "Bleh," then I'd be like, oh, wow, yeah, you can't be doing that. You got to get out of here. But if he was like, just looked like he was going about his business and, you know, maybe looked a little like embarrassed, I would just be like, you know what? That's fine. You know, I'm not gonna do anything about it. If he's just, you know, some poor guy who got a boner, right? It's not a big deal. I don't even think that would even come to that, because most guys aren't fucking gonna say anything. I think also most guys, to say something about another guy's penis would be like gay, you know, so they're not gonna like do anything about it. Anyway, if I was next to a guy personally, if I was in the locker room and the guy next to me had a boner, I would probably check it out. And I wouldn't be like, you know, I wouldn't troll him, but I'd just be like, okay, that's hot. And then, you know, if he looked like he was down to clown, I'd be like, yeah. So that was our last Reddit, guys. I loved it. This is fun. I think that I'm going to scour even more of the internet for just like stuff that happens that's sexual. I love answering questions. I think I have a pretty open mind about stuff like this, you know, this kind of stuff. And I think I'm like everybody's big, cool big sister or something like that, who just like, yeah, I'm going to tell you about drugs and sex and all sorts of cool shit I learned on the road. Yeah, I was at Woodstock. It was just like that. Anyway, guys, please rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to email us at makesexwithmepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out in our show notes. We've got our different socials there. You can also subscribe to be a monthly subscriber. It's in our socials too. It's our show notes. If you want to subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. And an update about Patreon. I am interested in getting a Patreon, but it's something that we have to develop. It's a little difficult. There's some things that need to happen first. So we're not going to get a Patreon right away, but we're working on it. We are. It's in the works. It is. And I want to also come up with some like cooler merch. We do have merch for sale, guys. But I want to work on the merch too. I want it to be like really popping off. And, you know, if you want to get like a coffee mug with my face on it, I want you to be able to have that. Also, somewhere there's a picture, an artsy picture. I sent in a picture of my penis to an artist who made it into a rocket ship. He does like art on his iPad or something, and he made it into a rocket ship. And I was gonna interview that guy, and then he kind of fell off the face of the earth. I'll try to get him back. But wouldn't it be fun if I sold? Would it be fun if I sold coffee mugs with my cock on them? I don't know. That might be kind of weird. Is that something Donald Trump would do? He'd like probably take someone else's cock and be like, "That's my cock. It's huge. My cock is the biggest cock. I have the best cock, and everyone says I have the best cock." Anyway, that was a really bad impression of Donald Trump. You guys, I love you. And I'm so happy that I could be with you even more every single week on Thursdays. Please, please, please love me. Be my friend. And I hope, my friends, that you are filling your holes with whatever makes you happy. Goodbye.